Hello, my fellow movie fans, and welcome to another episode of A Feast of Films Theatre with your hosts, Matthew Ayalew and Ethan R. Hill. How's that? That was good?
Yeah. Classic. Classic. What's going on, my fellow movie fans? Welcome to another episode of A Feast of Films. This is episode 34, part 2. Welcome back to the crazy parade. I'm Matt Ayalew, and with me as always is
Ethan R. Hill.
How's it going, Ethan?
I'm tired. I'm very tired. I've had a long few weeks. I didn't talk about it last time because I was busy trapped in your head.
Yeah.
But I moved houses. So I've had to move in the middle of a heat wave. So that was fun.
That always sucks, yeah.
Yeah, 40 degrees out and carrying heavy stuff was not ideal. But we're in a new space. That's why there's a bit of extra, probably reverb on my end, just because we haven't set up the room properly yet. So I'm in an essentially empty room.
That's not in my head, just to clarify.
Nope, it's definitely in a house in Calgary, and it's nice. I'm so far digging it, but we'll see how it goes. We got a year here at least, so
yeah, man. Listen, as long as it's livable and there's like no ghosts and stuff, then you should be good.
Oh, right. And I got my second shot this week, and that absolutely wiped my floor yesterday. I was just not great for a good chunk of the day. So, but overall, yeah.
Honestly, dude, I got my second shot, I think, on Canada Day. I went and got my second one. And honestly, my arm's just been sore. I've been lucky with my shots. I haven't actually felt too...
Did you get two of the same, or...?
Too nasty. Yeah, two of the same.
See, and I went Pfizer. I went Pfizer, then Moderna for the second one.
Oh, you were mixing it up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that probably causes a bit more issues, or maybe how your body's reacting to it anyway.
Apparently it shouldn't overall. I did some research, and a bunch of doctors are really confused as to why people care so much about getting the same. Like the thing is, you can't mix it with AstraZeneca because they were developed.
It's two different types. Yeah.
Yeah, one was RNA based, the other one's viral based.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't mix those two. But they were really confused. They're like, we don't know why people won't want to mix Moderna and Pfizer because they're pretty much the same thing. It's fine. You can do this. And so I saw that. Just happened to walk into a Shoppers and be like, hey, you guys got appointments? Because mine's at the end of the month. And they're like, yeah, come back tomorrow. We'll get you in. And I'm like, all right.
You're like, good deal.
Yup.
Yeah, I got, the first one I did through the pharmacy, and then the second one we did through, just SaskHealth or whatever. So, but both happened to just be Pfizer at the time, right? I was taking whatever they were given. Whatever you're handing out, I will have some of that. Thank you, cut me off a slice. Piece of that Kit Kat bar, baby. Let's go.
Honestly, that's been my attitude with it too, is
yeah.
I'm just all for just kind of, let's just do it and let's just get this over with.
100%, man. 100%. But, no, I think I've just been lucky. That's all. Some people have, reactions that are really rough and, just wipe them out. Other people, it's yeah, my arm is a little sore. That was it, so, I don't know.
My kid lifted above my head. Shut up.
I just wanted a lucky few. It's a lucky the Irish, I think, eh?
Yeah. I'm Irish, though. That didn't help me at all.
No, you must not be the right Irish.
I'm the left Irish?
I don't know. The square-angled Irish?
The extra Irish.
Is that a thing? I don't know.
I have no idea. I just work here, man.
Yeah. I barely do that, so. Anyway, today's episode, which is, I think I already said that, episode 34, part 2, we're going to be digging into digital versus physical media. Which one's kind of better, which one do we prefer, and a whole bunch of other things, where the future's going, which one's more convenient, I guess. I don't know. We have a whole bunch of different conversations and questions that we're going to be bringing up today. But don't forget to come back next week as well, because it's Star Wars week. That's right. We're going into the sequel trilogy of Star Wars films. And I know we've been since we started this podcast now over a year ago, we've been biting at the chomp to get into the sequel trilogy and start, having some solid debates. Because for the most part on Star Wars, we agree on most things. I think, like
You
if you
mean
say the
chomping at the
most
bit?
part, what did I say?
You said biting at the chomp?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, chomping at the bit, whatever.
There you go.
I don't know what I said.
Matt, you don't
Sometimes
spend a lot of time around horses, do you?
I mix and match. I mix and match my metaphors, but mostly we agree on Star Wars.
Metaphor.
But the new trilogy, once we get past Force Awakens,
It's gonna get interesting.
it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun, and
You're
then when we
gonna.
get into the spin-offs, it's gonna be even more fun.
It's gonna be interesting how much you realize how wrong you are about everything. And how
Yeah,
I'm gonna just destroy your illusions of anything to do with Star Wars.
you have your overconfidence will be your downfall, my
And your
friend.
faith in your friends is yours.
Yo, I don't have no French.
That's exactly why it's your downfall. You have faith in these friends that don't exist.
I'm just like, come on, Stevie, let's do this. Like, who the hell's Stevie, man?
Like,
I don't
exactly?
know.
Are you gonna do like a trust fall and be like, "Catch me, friends," and then no one catches you?
I'll do a trust fall with Max. Catch me, Max.
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Oh man. Anyway,
Dad, get off me! You're crushing me, Dad.
Star Wars starts next week again. But for today, physical versus digital. Let's get to it.
I think this conversation starts out very simply. Like, what are you, Matt? Are you physical or a digital guy? Which one do you prefer?
I always prefer physical. Like I'm just very much in that realm. Like I like having something physical that I can actually hold, that I can actually like I got a nice cover for it, like cuz you get like the box art and everything too. Like it's just like I just like it. That's the way we grew up. That's the way we were raised. We didn't have digital shit back in the 90s. You know what I mean? Like we weren't watching
We had
YouTube and
clocks.
downloading videos. And like we got some sticks outside and we had VHS tapes, baby.
We got digital clocks. That's all we had
Like
digitally.
that's as close to digital as we got. Like there wasn't even DVDs back in the day, right? Like it was those
Oh,
early
DVDs.
90 days were a lot of fun, but yeah, so I think that's for anyone who's a little bit older. Like we're obviously just gonna have a more and I don't want to like blanket code it, but I think we're just gonna be more inclined to physical. As far as just like that personal preference goes. What about you, bud?
I'm a both kind of guy, in all honesty. And a lot of people I've actually talked to. It depends. The dividing factor on collecting physical media versus digital media that I've encountered working in a record store that sells this stuff is how much people pirated. If they pirated a bunch, they're very pro digital, but if they didn't ever pirate or didn't want to pirate, then they're very pro
Interesting.
physical.
Interesting. Yeah.
For me, so here's the thing. Convenience wise, nowadays, for just the sake of libraries and being able to check stuff out, digital is better.
Well, that was one of my other points for preference, but yeah, okay, yep.
Until you
I
don't
was gonna
have
bring that up
internet.
later.
Until you don't have internet. Like I haven't for the last week.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. And suddenly I was really grateful for my gigantic DVD collection. Mm-hmm. Because I think I have well over 1,000 movies at this point. Like, I've been collecting for 10 years. I haven't counted because I don't want to get sad when I count and find out how much money I've spent.
Yep.
But it's one of those things of like, for me personally, quality-wise, convenience-wise, digital in this day and age is better. Quality-wise, physical will always be better. You aren't dealing with buffering speeds. You're not dealing with any kind of like suddenly the internet craps out and you get a bunch of potato quality video. When you put a Blu-ray or a 4K in, you're gonna consistently get Blu-ray or 4K quality.
It's always there. It's right there in the disc. Yeah.
Exactly. You're
100%.
not gonna suddenly lose it because the internet cuts out.
Yeah.
So quality-wise, yes. And then also, again, as a collector, like the collectability of it, it's fun having your favorite movies at your fingertips and being like, yeah, this is my favorite movie, and look at the special edition that I got. But I like the versatility that digital brings. right? And also the convenience moving wise. As someone who, again, I have a large collection of movies, I just had to move them all. That was 18 boxes of movies, and it was
Yeah,
painful. It was
yeah.
not fun. Whereas if I had them all digitally on a hard drive, it would be, oh, one hard drive, okay, yeah, my movies are moved. So again, I can see the benefits to both. But if I had to choose one or the other, like if I had to choose between giving up all my streaming services or give up buying. Oh no, I just asked myself a really hard question because I didn't think about this.
Which one would you have to give up?
If I had to give up buying movies,
Yeah.
like if I had to give up one or the other, because in theory I could buy movie posters still and get the joys of the artwork. And like, let's be real here. Like, I actually, this is related but unrelated. Have you noticed DVD and Blu-ray box art like just sucks lately?
Yeah,
Like,
the
it's not as
film,
good
like
as it
just
used to be.
film, like poster art in general is not as
Yeah.
good as it used to be. Yeah, because it's more like marketing mass media style, right? Like
Yeah.
everything, like it's not like they used to have like crazy art for box
Well,
arts back in the day,
Well, and
right?
you'd get different, like especially when it was the height of like the Blu-ray and DVD coming out together. For a lot of times, you'd have a different art from Blu-ray to DVD, and then when 4K started to come out, it was different art between the Blu-ray and the 4K, and now it's just kind of homogenized into all the same art for every single one.
Right.
Which makes sense, I guess. At the end of the day, you don't have to spend as much money, but like as a collector, it's like no, but I want to find my favorite movie poster and buy that.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's when I think about the size of the digital libraries out there, like if I had to choose between one streaming service, like only having one access to one streaming service or having access to my DVD collection, I would clearly pick my DVD collection because I know what's there, I know what I have. But like, and that's I think the problem with having multiple streaming services is like, well, I can say Disney Plus, but then I'm going to be missing out on some of
Well,
the
a bunch
shows
of
on
the other
Crave,
stuff. Yeah.
right? Like the shows
A
on
whole
Crave and
bunch of the other
HBO,
stuff.
like, and that's the problem with going digital. With my movie collection, I can very much pick and choose what that is built from the ground up. So for me, I think at the end of the day, I think I'd still go with physical, even just for like the quality of it. And again, suddenly internet cuts out. Yeah, no, physical. I'd stick with my physical. I like that was such a roundabout way to get to my answer.
Well, you
But
had to
like,
figure it all out, dude.
but no, yeah, I'd 100%. I'd stick with my physical collection because again, it's been handcrafted and built by me, and it has the movies I want to watch. I know that I like everything in my collection that's there. Otherwise, why would I own it? And yeah, and again, no dealing with buffering speeds or anything like that. So I think me and you are of the same mind of like physical is, in our opinion, better than digital. But I do think digital. Like, do you agree with me? Digital does have its advantages as well.
Yeah. Like 100%, man. Like I totally agree. On that aspect, like digital is like really great as far as like convenience and stuff goes, but it gets really inconvenient as soon as the internet's down or something happens, right? Like that convenience just completely goes straight out the window, right? Like it just doesn't matter at that point anymore. And that's where physical is just life saving. You can still watch your shows. You can still do your, stuff, your things. Like if you buy it, you own it, right? Like some of the digital stores, you don't always even download those films. Like they just live on that digital server, right? So like, say that company goes out of business and the server shuts down. It's like bye bye.
It's
You
happened
know,
to me a couple times.
goodbye to like the things you already put money on.
Yep.
And this question between physical and digital debate, like this happens in the gaming sphere too, right? But gaming's already lost that battle because even if you have the physical disc, there's like a gigabyte of information on that disc. The rest still gets downloaded, right? So even if
Yep.
you have the physical disc, they're not even putting the game on the disc anymore. It just acts as almost a license to download it. Now, once you download it, like right, internet connection or not, you can still use it. So there's benefits there. But yeah, like definitely when it comes to film still, they're still physically on the disc. And if I have to buy one, like if you're saying You go buy a film. Are you buying digital or are you buying physical? I will always buy physical because I will always have it. Doesn't matter if a server shuts down or business goes out. Like, I still have that film. I can put it in my DVD player, my Blu-ray player, whatever, and still watch it. Whereas digital, like if you download it, you have it. But
But
again,
even then,
like you
like,
said, like streaming services and stuff, right? Like they like if a streaming services goes down, well, there's all the shows you watched on there gone. Like, is it just
well,
gone?
other perk to it too. Like, so say you have it all backed up on a hard drive. You damage that hard drive, you lost 10,000 movies.
Well, there you go. Exactly.
I
Yeah.
scratch, like, aside from my house burning down, knock on wood, like, I don't think anything is gonna happen from that, you know? I
Yeah.
don't think I wouldn't lose that. I'd lose one movie.
Yeah.
If a disc gets scratched, I'd lose one movie. And that's basically it, right? Like, that's
100%. Like, is it convenient that I don't have to get off my butt to go change films or watch a different movie? Yeah, that's pretty convenient, man. But I tell you, when it comes down to it at the end of the day, like, digital is great, but it's not always reliable. Like, that's what we say all
100%.
the time, right? Like, how often do all of us, doesn't matter what level of technology you use, at some point, technology is a dick and you can't use it for whatever reason. Like, it's always the same. Technology is great until it doesn't work, which happens more often than obviously we'd like. And that's kind of the same how I feel with digital films. Like, it's great, it's convenient until it doesn't work, until a server gets shut down, until your hard drive gets damaged. Like, it's just because then they're gone. And what are you going to do after that? So
Well, it's like the Wi-Fi signal isn't strong enough.
it's strong enough, right?
What's it
You're
gonna
getting
be like?
potato
Oh,
graphics. I
your
like how you
Blu-ray,
said that.
your Blu-ray
Potato.
signal isn't
Yeah,
like it's not gonna be a thing. Like, and that's just the frustrating.
I
part of it,
agree.
like,
Yeah.
and
So
that's where, like,
as far as film goes, like I just think physical is superior and it's right there. Like it's on the disc. You're not streaming things. There's no weird connection issues. Like it's all right there. The best quality you're going to, like you said, consistently get throughout the whole film
oh,
because
exactly.
it doesn't
Like,
rely on downloading.
it maybe something will skip at some point. At which point, I just go and buy a new disc.
Yeah.
And especially with Blu-ray and 4K, like that's almost impossible now. Like it's so hard to scratch and damage those discs.
They're hardy. Not like the old CDs of the past where you like looked at it funny. It's like scratch. It's like, damn it. No. Damn it. I knew I shouldn't have let that eyelash fall out of my eye. Damn it.
I've noticed more and more what people are doing though is there is a mixture. People will buy physical, but they'll also have digital. I mean, I do it. Like I have
Yeah,
many
100%.
streaming sites
Yeah.
as well as buying physical. And it's the same thing with music. Like a lot of people, because records have made such a comeback, people will buy records and then they'll keep their phones with their digital music on it for in their cars and stuff like that. And so
Yep.
CDs are sort of falling by the wayside, kind of. Right? So it's interesting. It's interesting to see where we're at with it, and I don't think digital is going to fully take off until they work out all the bugs, like perfect streaming all the time with no internet connection.
Yeah.
Um,
And I don't know if you'll ever get there consistently across the planet, right?
I think you will. I
across
just
some
think
higher
not necessarily. I don't know necessarily in our lifetime, but I think it will definitely get there.
Yeah. Unless the world completely crumbles and falls apart before that happens, which
I mean, that's
also a
very
possibility.
possible. Yes.
Like, we're not really, some days I look at
not
the news and I'm
fortune
like,
tellers.
we are not, well, dude, some days I look at the news and I'm like, we are not a good place. Clearly, the ocean is literally on fire.
No, no.
That was
The,
something.
the
that was
oil
some
that
crazy
is the oil that is in the ocean is on fire.
Oh yes, I know, but
I think
but,
that
like,
makes it better.
It's a whole pretty ridiculous situation, but yeah, no, I agree with you. Just in general, like the hybridization, the use of both, is the best way, right? Like, and like gun to my head, if I have to pick one, I'm going physical, right? But
Yeah.
other than that, like yeah, I'll buy the movies I want to buy. I will stream the movies and shows I want to stream. Like, and if they get taken off a streaming service and I want to still watch them, I'll go buy them. Right?
Exactly.
Like, but I'm not buying a digital. Like, I don't, the only things I buy digital, again, are games. Mainly because they're already digital in the first place. Like the discs don't even mean anything anymore. I do like to go physical, but with COVID, obviously, I've done digital a lot. But when it comes to films and stuff, like if it's still on the disc, I'm going for the physical stuff. But yeah, that hybridization, that's the natural way of things. Where do you think it's going to go in the future, though? Like, do you think, like, I know you just said, like, when Wi Fi gets better, but, like, what about, like, in our lifetime, not some mystical future? Do
I
you
think
think things are going to lean more towards digital? Do you think people are going to start, is it going to be that old becomes new again thing and people are going to lean back towards the physical a little bit more heavily?
I think so. My opinion. I think what it's going to be is I think for the most part it is going to become digital. It is very much going to be like I'd say 80% digital. But I think that 20% is going to be specifically collector's basis. So we're going to get like super special edition collector stuff that not it. You're going to have to pay a premium for probably 20 to 30 bucks per movie,
Right.
but you're getting so much more out of it. You're getting the best version of that film that you can. Whereas the digital streaming one, not so much. And I think what'll turn to is there's going to be like more options to buy digital to download and keep rather than just to like, oh yeah, you have this until our service dies. Like
Yeah,
it'll be like specifically like,
for sure.
yeah, buy your hard drive and download it directly to that and have it for the rest of your life. Like
Yeah.
save it to the cloud in your personal library for the rest of your life. Like that kind of stuff I think will be where it goes. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. At the end of the day, as a creator, content just needs to be seen. That's the main purpose of it. Um, and actually, I keep thinking about this, and it really baffles me that like there isn't like a film archive online for people to access. Like even like for the public domain ones, just like where you can access and watch any film throughout history. Like you'd think there'd be something like that exists, but like there really isn't. And like the closest we have is our streaming services, but that again I think comes down to rights and stuff like that. It's weird that the
Yeah, the
public
rights
domain.
thing, for sure.
But you'd think for public domain stuff there'd be something like that rather than just on YouTube in again potato quality.
I love that potato quality. That's what I call it anytime anything looks like crap now.
I want
I'm
to say
like,
I got
goddamn
that.
potato quality.
I think I got that from Prosser, and Prosser probably got it from somewhere. I don't know. It's been in my vocabulary for years now.
That's how things usually spread, though.
But like, no, it's one of those things that I think it would be foolish of us to not think that digital is going to be the way of the because that's the way it always has been. Yes, there's been some comeback for physical, but like the way of the future is always going to be digital. It's always going to be because it's more compact. It's simplistic. I wouldn't be surprised if like
Cheaper for companies at
well
the end of
actually
the day.
like Nintendo actually kind of has the right idea in going from they went from cartridges to discs back to cartridges. But that's because the cartridges, the microchips can store more data on that than on a disc. And you can load quicker on that than a disc. So if anything, if it's gonna go, if movies are gonna go, like the next step for movies, I think would be going to a cartridge based thing before going completely digital.
Interesting.
I think it makes sense. It's like,
I
hey,
never
yeah,
thought about that before. No,
here's a little
cartridges
data.
for film.
Yeah, here's a little data stick with your 8K movie on it. Right? Your terabyte of data film in this
Pretty
little,
much, right? Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think at the end of the day, technology is going to consistently be moving forward. And I think as someone who is like technologically kind of illiterate sometimes, being afraid of technology and things moving forward is just
It's not going to help you in the long run.
no. Like again, being a contrarian because it's like, oh well, it's not what I grew up with. Like, shut up. VHSs are cool and all, but like, doesn't mean that that's
The march of
prime.
progress and time, people. The march of progress and time. I mean, listen, we're not still driving around on like freaking like a horse and buggy because we got cars now and they're better, you know? We're not still like using a steam engine Because there's like these, there's always advancements. We move forward. Unfortunately, we are stuck in like this whole like fossil fuel situation. Like, just I feel like we're just stuck right now in time. You know what I mean? Like, just as a human
We're
race, this is
slowly
like a
getting there.
this is
We
a
just need to
side
move.
topic.
We need to pick up the pace a bit, but we're
Like,
moving.
yeah, man, I think there needs to be more investment. Like, but like, man, where's not even the flying cars, man? Like, but you look at like those beautiful like utopias of the future images, ideas, and it's like, how are we ever gonna reach that if we just can't move forward? Like,
Matt, the problem with that is they didn't think about the physics.
well, yeah, I didn't say specifically the flying cars. I said like without those, but just like you think of like the cleanliness, like the beauty, like the electrical, like just a more better functioning society. And I'm like, man, we still stuck in the past. But you're right. Like as far as it comes to technology, when it comes to film and stuff, it's like, yeah, you can't be afraid of technology. You can't be afraid of change. Are there drawbacks to it? Yes, but do what's best for you. But don't be afraid to also embrace the future, right? Like enjoy your physical media, like I do, and collect it if you love to collect it. But if you want to dabble in digital, go ahead. Like I still don't buy
Well, and
digital because I don't trust it 100%
yeah,
completely as far as purchasing and putting my money on it. I'm even skeptical about video games, right? Like I'm even skeptical about that. But like streaming services are like they're great and everyone knows they're great. That's why they've taken off. That's why it's a streaming war because like, listen, I don't have to buy these things. I just pay my money and I gotta just rent them. You just rent pretty much every movie that's on there, as many movies as you want
one
for that price.
again, like the cool thing with it too is it also,
Man, I miss Blockbuster. Anyway,
that's an experience 100% that it's like it's kind of missing, right? But like
I'm honestly sad. Like my kids will never experience that because there was something special about a Friday night, like plan with your friends. Like, oh, we're gonna have a sleepover. Then you like roll down a Blockbuster and you get your chips and you get your pops and you pick out your movie and you get to look at like you go in there and you see all the lines of that movie you want and you're like hoping to God there is one box behind the box art. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Left. There's one film. And you get to talk to like other people about the movies. Like it's just I'm honestly a little disappointed that people don't get to our kids won't get to experience that because it was pretty cool. It was
one
pretty cool.
I think the interesting thing for me is access to digital movies has definitely expanded my horizons a bit more than just physical media.
Sure.
Because again, with physical media, you are limited to what's in the store
Yeah.
and what was in like, um, what was in the store and what was in the like even in
Even just what
Blockbuster,
you were looking for, right? Like you
right?
weren't going into sections that you weren't interested in.
Whereas like going on to the streaming sites or anything like that, like there's so much more at your fingertips where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, and you like my horizons have been expanded by that just vastly.
And it's cheaper, right? Like you don't have to pay to rent one film to test it out. Like you're paying your subscription service and you can watch whatever you want, right? So like it's less risk adverse too. There's definitely pluses and benefits
but
to all
as soon
things.
as soon as you invest in like what is it 20 different streaming services now, then you've kind of like it kind of balances out there, right?
Well, then you got to pick and choose, right? Like it's up to the person, I guess. Like Amazon's pretty good because you like that just kind of bundles in if you get Amazon Prime, like there's a whole bunch of different services you get with that. Um like and then again, depends what shows you want to watch or what is more important to you. At the end of the day, right? That comes down to it. Like my wife, myself, now, we love Disney, so of course we're gonna have Disney Plus. And then Netflix, I just find it's a good mix of a lot of different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You still can't get everything, and that's okay too. Like, but again, you can still buy things. But I just think when it comes down to like expanding your horizons and trying out new films, like say you're paying your subscription to Netflix, it's like, well, I can try out this film or this, these four films, even though I'm not 100% sure on them. But if you were renting it physically, right, you'd have to pay rent on each $10 or whatever it was on each individual film instead of just your 15 for the month or whatever it is, or 20 or whatever it is nowadays. But yeah, I don't know. Again, like you said, benefits and drawbacks to each one. You missed the experience, but your horizons are opened a little bit more as well.
Oh, exactly. And that's. I think at the end of the day, any way that you can get movies in and media in is kind of the right answer. It's just the right way. If you can do it, then do it.
And enjoy the way you like to do it, right? Like, don't let anyone tell you different. Game how you want to game. Watch movies the way you want to watch movies. Whatever
We're not here to
system,
shame
like,
people.
like no one's yeah. And if people are, they're dicks. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about their opinion. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I had one other question. It was just floating at the top of my mind. Now it ran away, and I don't know where it went to. For someone with a pretty empty head, it's interesting how many things I lose at the same time. Like,
I mean, I got out, so it's
where
not much
did-
of a surprise.
Where did that go? Where did that question go? Yeah, we talked about preference, talked about the future, um, talked about gun to your head. What would you kind of go with? I thought there was one more thing that I wanted to talk about.
I'm drawing a blank on it too.
We talked about consistent quality, right? Obviously, physical is gonna have a higher consistent quality,
Yeah.
depending on your internet, right? Depending even what room in the house you're in. uh Yeah, no, I think that's it. Obviously, movie theaters are the best way to watch films. End of story. That's what they're all designed for.
Exactly.
And it's such a special experience. I love going to the movies. Oh, dude, I went and saw Quiet Place Part 2. Hot damn. My wife took me when
didn't
we
you tell us? Was that
I
last?
told you I was going. That was the first movie
Oh,
I was
okay.
going to go see, but I didn't know I was actually going to see it. It was my wife we like did this staycation for our anniversary, right?
Yeah.
And she surprised me by was like, "Oh, we're going to the movie theaters." And I was like, "Sick." And I thought she was going to take me to like want to go to like Cruella or something. And she's like, "No, we're going to go to a quiet place." And I was like, "Really?" Cuz she doesn't like scary stuff. So that was one of those things where it was like that's a moment of true love right there, man. Willing to go see A Quiet Place Part 2. Movie was pretty good. I enjoy it. It ended a little bit abruptly. I was like, "Oh, it's over? Okay."
Oh, that's all right.
Jamon Hansu is in it for like 10 seconds, and I was like, God damn it, this guy's such a great actor. Why is he not in more stuff? And why is he not in bigger roles? Ridiculous. But other than that, though, it was a pretty damn good movie. And so, yeah, I've actually been back to the theaters, and it was pretty great. Next one, I do want to go see Black Widow, though. That's definitely one of them. But
I think me and Prosser are saving going back to the movies for the Green Knight.
oh, yeah,
It's like
good choice.
if it's gonna be something, let's do something weird. Let's get that Arthurian fantasy
Yeah.
going. Let's watch.
Yeah,
Let's go to see
yeah.
that. Let's support that and get a whole new wave of a genre of fantasy films brought to theaters.
100%, man. Rock and roll. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we
I think that was it though. I thought I had one more thing to talk about, and
do you want
honestly,
to hop into
It has
question of the
disappeared.
day and then maybe it'll come back.
yeah, maybe let's do that. We'll go into our questions of the day, but let us know. Do you guys prefer physical or digital? Gun to your head. Which one are you choosing? And just what are your thoughts when it comes to it? Let us know down in the comment section below. But we'll move on to our question of the day, which is from me, and I'm gonna do this throwback to the very beginning of the episode, and I'll ask Ethan because he just experienced this. Would you choose to move in plus 40 or minus 40?
Oh, plus 40 easy.
Not even a competition.
No, because yes, it was terrible and I hated it. It was awful, but I could not imagine moving in the snow.
I've moved in the snow. It is
Like,
not great.
well, and so that's the question: is this minus 40 weather With snow or without
Oh,
snow?
there's always snow, man.
Because
You you know
if
you
it's
know how it be around here. There's always
if it's
snow.
-40 without snow, my body movement it would be fine because body movement would keep my like a temperature up and all that stuff. So that's great. I wouldn't worry about overheating. I'd be moving constantly, so I wouldn't be worried about freezing either.
Fair enough.
However, the snow and the ice adds a factor to that. Now in the +40, you just got to be continuously getting hydrated, and that's the trade off there. But yeah, no, +40 easily.
Just yeah, not even a debate. I would agree with you probably in that one. I have moved in both, where it was like I think the one day we moved it was like -38. I was like, oh my god, I'm freaking gonna die. And it was like super cold. There was a lot of snow. It was just not a fun experience. It's not bad for the small things, but as soon as you start moving beds and cabinets and stuff, and you kind of need more secure footing because you're holding something that's heavy as hell, yeah, that's where it really gets to be a pain in the ass. But yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. Even though like hot sucks when it's like that level of heat, um, it's still ultimately better at the end of the day. A little bit safer too. So 100%.
It's dangerous all around. Don't move, people.
Yeah, just don't move, man, and make sure you have if you have your friends helping you out because no one honestly I don't care who you are and your friend might be the greatest person in the world they do not want to help you move like no one wants to help you move no one even wants to move themselves right like so no one wants to help if you're gonna do it make sure you damn well have some beer and pizza or sit like bring the quality stuff don't cheap out don't go to Little Caesars you know get the good stuff get the good stuff
Yes.
little tip of the day for you question and tip. So what about you guys? Would you move in -40 or +40?
I feel like everyone's gonna say +40.
Probably. Some
I
might
can't.
choose the cold though.
I
You
can't
never
think
know.
of a single person who would be crazy enough to say the cold.
Well, sometimes you don't have a choice, I guess. Yeah. Hilarious. Anyway, um yeah, no, I
Did it
can't
come
think of
back to you
any.
at all? No.
No, not at all. No.
Well, I guess this is just a short episode.
Oh well. Yeah, I can't really think of it off the top of my head. I mean, when it comes down to it, like there's just like we've said all episode, like there's definitely pros and cons to each one, and like
Do you
yeah,
have a Do you have a favorite format that we've had so far? Like, do you have like a personal preference from VHS to 4K for home video that you've enjoyed the most, or not really?
not really. Probably like I mean, once you start getting to like 4K and like there's 8K TVs, like your eye can only see so much. The human eye can only
16, I
see
think.
so much definition. You know what I mean? Like at some point, it's getting like, and sometimes with the 4K stuff, you can tell things are like makeup. Like you can see
Yeah,
through the
you can see
fog
the
of
flaws.
the cinematic magic, right? Like you
Yeah,
can really see like something's makeup or paint or whatever. So like I just think normal, like just straight up HD or maybe even like 1400p. Like 4K is nice. Yeah, I just think like that 1080p is probably like the perfect because you got the clarity of the image, but also you're not seeing through the magic. Still, there's still that layer of magic.
see, if I could get the aesthetic of VHS with the quality of 4K, I'd like that because I like VHS cases.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
like the
pretty cool.
feel. I like the hefty feel of a VHS. It's like this is a movie.
Like there's something in here, yeah.
Yeah, and if I could get that with the quality of a 4K, that would be cool. But I don't think that would work. I don't think it would.
No, I don't think it would. I don't think it would work either.
Essentially be like it would just be like a pluggable hard disk drive, like a it has a disk inside, and you just push it in, and then
Yeah, yeah,
like there'd be a market for it. People would 100% buy it. Like it's. I don't think it would sell enough to justify.
yeah. No, 100%, man.
But I miss
100%.
VHS tapes. I do.
Well, yeah, and I just think like going forward, like I think companies are gonna just move more digital anyway. Like it's just gonna be
Yeah.
inevitable, right? Like
Well, that's
you
where
don't have to pay for physical distribution and pay to like for the discs or for the hardware aspect of distribution and putting out films, like yeah, that's definitely going to be a benefit.
Well, and that's where I think the microchip or the SD card or anything like that is going to be the future of movies before we go completely digital.
Before, yeah, maybe we'll have to wait and see. It should be interesting. The
Yeah.
future always changing, always changing. Anyway, that's it for this episode of A Feast of Films. And make sure you catch up with us next week as we dig into Star Wars and
Episode
start
7.
getting into the next trilogy, Episode 7.
Yeah.
That's right. Ethan, where can the good people find you?
You can find me at Ethan R. Hill on Instagram. You can also find me at Ethan R. Hill on YouTube. And you can also find the film that me and Prosper made, Damned Rights, at realhouse.org. You can download it. You can buy it. You can stream it. All that fun stuff. Matt, where can they find you?
Cool. You can find me on Twitter at GK Radio Man. And you can find my new podcast, Gaming Night Radio. It's a fun time. We talk about the best of gaming and we call out the worst because there's definitely worst parts in there too. You know, crappy microtransactions, terrible predatory business practices, developer abuse, lots of stuff that we always talk about too because it's important to just spread awareness of the things that aren't great, but to celebrate and love the things that are. So yeah, you can find that on any of your podcast apps. Wherever you're listening to this, you should be able to find Gaming Night Radio.
Yeah.
So look it up. Look it up. Other than that, I'm Matt Ayalew. With me as always is
Ethan R. Hill.
and this has been A Feast of Films, episode 34, part 2. We'll see you next week as we dig into Star Wars, The Force Awakens.
Have a good week, everybody.
So long.
Bye-bye.
Toodaloo.
Yeah.
Whoa, we did it.